now, dear colleagues, dear member states, we are approaching to the last agenda item, which is a confirmation of dates and the places of regular sessions of the Regional Committee in 2024-2027. With great pleasure, I would like to give the floor to our President of our Regional Committee, to distinguished Madam Minister Ajar Гинеят, to chair that agenda item. Ajar Гинеятовна, вам слово.
Саламат Садарма, уважаемые коллеги. На экране отображаются соответствующие документы для последнего пункта нашей повестки. И региональному комитету предлагается рассмотреть возможное время и место проведения сессии Европейского регионального комитета в период 2024-2027 годы и принять проект соответствующего решения. Я хотела бы теперь представить слово для любых комментариев, замечаний по данному пункту повестки дня. Есть ли делегации, которые хотели бы выступить, пожалуйста, поднимите свою табличку. Пожалуйста, Российская Федерация.
Большое спасибо, госпожа председатель. К сожалению, в последние годы мы сталкиваемся, судя по всему, с какой-то кампанией, потому что нашим экспертам в области здравоохранения отказывают во въезде на мероприятия под эгидой ЕРБ ВОЗ и ВОЗ в принципе, отказывают в визах, отказывают во въезде в страну, в участии в мероприятии в личном качестве. Последний такой случай, просто вопиющий случай, когда в аэропорту Каструб, Копенгаген, российскому представителю, следующему по приглашению ЕРБ ВОЗ, имеющему действующую визу, было отказано в участии в мероприятии в качестве члена рабочей группы ВОЗ. Такие же, похожие ситуации были в Португалии, в Испании. Поэтому, к сожалению, мы не можем принять данное решение проводить следующие сессии в Копенгагене, потому что мы не уверены, что нашим представителям дадут возможность в нем участвовать. В качестве выхода из этой ситуации мы бы хотели услышать гарантии от наших западных коллег, что такие ситуации больше не повторятся, либо хотели бы попросить секретариат проработать варианты проведения следующих заседаний по линии ЕРБ ВОЗ за пределами Евросоюза. Спасибо.
Еще есть выступающие? Выступающих. Слово предоставляется господину Дэвиду Аллену, юрисконсульту, для ответного выступления.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes. Well, as I understand it, the Russian Federation has asked either for guarantees from Western countries that they can, their delegates will be allowed in. I think that's what the Russian Federation said, or for the Secretariat to provide an alternative to holding the regional committee in a European Union country. The issue at hand in terms of the location for next year's regional committee is that we have the election of the regional director taking place at that meeting. And the practice, consistent practice, has been for regional committees where a regional director is being elected to take place in the regional office. So it's not hosted by a government as such, it's hosted by the regional office itself in the office headquarters, which, as you all know, is in Copenhagen. So it's for that reason that the proposal is on the table to host next year's regional committee at the regional office headquarters in Copenhagen. I think that's as much as I can say in terms of a response to the question that's been raised.
Спасибо большое. Для того, чтобы завершить обсуждение данного пункта повестки дня, нам необходимо рассмотреть вопрос о принятии предлагаемого проекта решения, представленного на документе «Время и место проведения очередных сессий Европейского регионального комитета 2024-2027 годы». Готов ли комитет принять предлагаемый проект решения? Российской Федерации слово.
Госпожа председатель, моя страна не готова принять проект данного решения по причинам, которые я уже озвучил выше. Если наши опасения будут каким-то образом учтены в решении, в тексте решения, мы готовы его рассмотреть. Спасибо.
Слово предоставляется Украине.
Thank you for the floor, dear President. On behalf of the Ukrainian people, I'd also like to express my sincere gratitude to the World Health Organization Regional Committee for Europe for such an active support of the health sector in Ukraine and the focusing attention where this attendance is extremely needed. Ukraine is successfully implementing reforms, strengthening infrastructure and human resources. We are implementing our recovery plans with a clear vision of what we want to be achieved by 2030. In this regard, I have the honor to offer the consider the potential opportunity to hold the 75th session of the WHO Regional Committee for Europe in 2025, be held in Ukraine. We believe that this event will mark a new beginning in our journey forward to improve the lives of people in the Europe region and beyond. Thank you.
So, dear member states, due to announced suggestions, we would like to have a 10 minutes consultation break. Thank you for your understanding. So, it was a extended, unexpected break. So, welcome back, everyone. Dear colleagues, in terms of the discussed issue, I have been informed that the discussions on the margins did not resolve the issue. So it is my understanding that the Russian Federation cannot accept the current version of the draft decision. At this stage, taking into account consideration time, taking into account and consideration the time limits and restrictions which we have, we may need to proceed to a vote. However, before considering the draft decision as such, I would like to open the floor for comments on the other offer which has been made by Ukraine to host the 75th session of the Regional Committee in 2025. So in light, so if there are any member states who would like to comment that issue, Spain, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. I speak on behalf of the EU and its member states, and we'd like to thank very much Ukraine for the kind offer, but we would need more time to take such a decision. Thank you.
Next, Monaco, right? Okay.
Russian Federation have that flag up.
Okay. Next, Russian Federation, please.
Спасибо, господин председатель. У нас комментарий не по предложению Украины, а скорее по предыдущим высказываниям правового отдела. Мы бы хотели также получить разъяснение, скорее прокомментировать, чтобы правовой отдел прокомментировал, было ли со стороны принимающих стран, в нашем случае, нарушение так называемого host agreement, то есть соглашение с принимающей страной. Спасибо.
Thank you, Russian Federation. Now, I would like to invite Monica.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président exécutif, et à mon tour, je souhaite remercier l'Ukraine pour son offre extrêmement généreuse. Mais comme l'a indiqué l'Espagne, il va nous falloir un peu de temps et surtout retourner vers notre capitale à ce sujet. Donc nous ne pouvons prendre une décision sur le siège aujourd'hui. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Monaco. And now I would like to give the floor to legal counsel to answer the reply to the comments made by the Russian Federation. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the Russian Federation. As I understand it, you've asked for comments from my department as to whether the situation that you described before, where the minister was not granted entry into Denmark, was a violation of the rules. I'm not in a position to give you that opinion at the moment. I understand that there are ongoing correspondence between the two member states concerned, and that the matter is still being discussed between them to clarify what the situation was. It's only when we have that clarification that we would be in a position to assist you with an assessment as to whether that was in line with the host country agreement that we have. So at the moment, I don't have sufficient knowledge of the facts to be able to give you more than that, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Derek. And in light what we have heard, may I take it that the regional committee agrees to consider the question on the location of the 75th regional committee
Sorry, excuse me, interpreters, can I check that you can hear us? There was some technical disruption. Thank you very much, so we'll use mine. Thank you.
So, if everything is fine now with translation. So, I would repeat my last sentence. Yeah. So, in light of what we have heard, may I take that the regional committee agrees to consider the question of the location of the 75th regional committee at its meeting next year. I see no objection, so therefore thank you very much for your collaboration. It is so decided. Now we need to proceed to the first amendment, which has been made by the Russian Federation, and in terms of the Regional Committee 2024, and which is on the draft decision contained in the document EUR RC73/Conf6 on dates and places of the regular sessions of the Regional Committee. At this point, I would like to invite our legal counsel to explain the procedures.
Thank you very much. So, as I understand it, we are proceeding now to conduct a vote on the question of the draft decision contained in document EUR/RC73/Conf6 as it stands. This is concerning the dates and places of the regular sessions of the Regional Committee. In accordance with Rule 41 of the Rules of Procedure, the Regional Committee shall normally vote by show of hands, except that any representative may request a roll call, which shall be taken in the English alphabetical order of the names of the members. My understanding is that no member state has requested a roll call, and that therefore we will proceed by a show of hands vote in the room. The way we will proceed is as follows. Firstly, the presiding officer will invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they vote in favor of adopting the draft resolution. Then, the presiding officer will invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to vote against adopting the draft resolution. And finally, the presiding officer will invite delegations to raise their nameplates if they wish to abstain. So you'll first be asked if you wish to vote in favour of the draft resolution. You'll then be given an opportunity to vote against the draft resolution, and finally, you'll have the opportunity to abstain. It is important when you are voting that delegations keep their nameplates raised until the presiding officer indicates that they may be lowered. The Secretariat will keep a record of the number of votes, although not of who voted how, and accordingly, you will see members of the Secretariat positioning themselves in the room in order to be able to see clearly your nameplates. You must keep them raised until the President tells you to lower them, or your vote may not be counted. After all the member states wishing to vote have done so, there will be a short pause while we collate the votes and make sure we have the right record between us, after which the presiding officer will announce the results.
So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Walton. And I need to ask at this point if there are any questions related to the conduction of the vote. No? I would ask the Secretariat now to take up their positions in the room to count the vote. Before proceeding with the vote, I should like to remind all delegates that proceeding may be interrupted only for points of order connected to the actual conduct of the vote. Any such points of order or other questions related to the conduct of the vote must be raised before the results of the vote are announced. I should also invite delegations to remain seated through the voting. I now have to declare the vote is open. Those delegations wishing to vote in favor of the draft decision, please raise your nameplates and keep them raised until I give a signal to lower them. Thank you very much. You may lower your nameplates. Monica, you may lower your nameplate. Thank you. And now I invite those delegations who wishing to vote against the draft decision. So raise the nameplates and keep them raised until I give a signal to lower them. So please, raise your name, please. Those delegations who is wishing to vote against. I'll ask for the final time. Please raise the name, please. Those delegations who is wishing to vote against.
That's okay.
That's okay? Yeah. Thank you very much. And there is no name, please, has been raised against. And now I invite those delegations wishing to abstain. Please raise your nameplates and keep them raised until I signal that to lower them. So, thank you very much. You can now lower your nameplates. So for now, I declare that the voting is closed. And the Secretariat will now proceed to collate the votes. This process may take some time, and I would like to ask delegations to remain in the hall room while this takes place. Thank you very much for your patience. And the results of the vote is as follows. The number of members present with the right to vote is 52 at the session in general. The number of members absent for the purpose of vote is 15. 15. The number of abstentions, 4. The number of members present and voting, 33. Number of votes in favor, 33. Number of votes against, 0. The proposal is therefore adopted by 33 votes to 0 with 4 abstentions. And now
Do we have the...
yes, Russian Federation raised the name tag. Yes, you have the floor.
Спасибо, господин председатель. Хотел бы сделать заявление по мотивам голосования, еще раз объяснить нашу позицию. Мы выступаем не против какого-либо определенного города, места или страны. Мы выступаем за то, чтобы принимающие страны соблюдали свои обязательства и выдавали визы всем участникам международных мероприятий. Второе, я бы хотел прокомментировать то, что сказал правовой отдел. Мы просили прокомментировать не наше двустороннее соглашение с Данией, а мы хотели прокомментировать соглашение Дании с ВОЗ. И не является ли действие, которое мы описали ранее, нарушением вот этого соглашения? Спасибо.
Thank you, Russian Federation. We'll write back to you shortly. So then I invite our legal counsel, Derek, to respond. Please.
Thank you. Well, I think I set out the position before. Under our agreements with host countries for both the regional office and for regional committee meetings, we do obtain undertakings as part of the agreement as to entry into the country for those who are invited to attend the meetings. But that does not mean that the immigration law of the countries concerned are completely set aside, and there are circumstances in which visas and the like can legitimately be refused. We are awaiting further information to clarify the circumstances surrounding the situation that you described. And until we have further information, we're not in a position to assess what happened, whether what happened in this case was consistent with the obligations of the host country or not. So we need that information before we can give you an answer to that question. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? So, if not, with this, I have to declare that the decision adopted.